Alright, hey, what's up, guys? We're back with the third episode of the Wolf and Warden podcast. I am Wolf, I'm here with my friend Warden, and today we'll be talking about how I personally think that streaming and making videos on new games makes it feel impersonal, such as, so when the first time this calls back to the first episode, the first time I played The Last of Us, if I would have streamed it or made videos on it, I wouldn't have gotten to me I don't think I would have gotten as emotionally attached to those characters if I can't speak.
If
If I was
you
making videos and
as
streaming,
emotion
I don't think I would have gotten as emotionally attached to the characters as I did.
all right, I got you. I see where you're coming from, man. You feel as if sharing the experience with a group audience makes it less impersonal for yourself, correct?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I see where you're coming from, and I feel like at this, the bigger YouTubers, the bigger streamers, and all that stuff, how they stream the games when they come out, it feels like almost they have to, because at that point, that is their job.
Yeah.
Pump out the newest content for their viewers and keep their views up, their likes up, all that good stuff. So it almost becomes a job at that point, and I can get why that makes it like seem impersonal. Um, but I mean, there's also those up there that play a game for the first time while streaming to share the experience almost with their viewers. I mean, if they have even if they have like a low viewer count, but they still have pretty dedicated viewers. I feel like maybe some of them want to what the fuck is the word? Share the experience with them almost.
Yeah.
But I mean, like me personally, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, man, because it's like Red Dead 2, it doesn't become your playthrough anymore. It becomes, oh, what's gonna be entertaining for these people to watch?
Yeah.
What's gonna be uh do I want to make it quick? Do I want to drag it out, or do I want to get the game done faster than anybody else? That way my videos get up faster.
Yeah,
You know,
like for instance, you're playing the game, yeah. You get into the game, you get into Red Dead, you're just like, I'm gonna do a really good playthrough, I'm gonna be the good guy all the way through. And then you start seeing people playing and you're just like, oh, they're being bad, they're being the bad guy. And then to make the content more interesting, you start being the bad guy. But you don't really want to, making it not your playthrough anymore. You're making it the audience's playthrough, so they're more entertained. I feel when you play games for the first time, it's your playthrough. It needs to be your playthrough.
yeah, I get that. I mean, but then again, that can be said about a bunch of other things too, because like music and stuff like that. You can create your own music, and you can start off, as like an indie artist and do your own thing. But then once you get, a little bit bigger, then maybe you want to branch out a little bit, and then you start making music that isn't so close to your heart, but more to appeal to a broader audience. And then it just kind of becomes, oh, how do I please the fans? How do I keep this recognition up? I'm more worried about who's gonna buy my albums, or in this case, who's gonna watch my videos, than I do creating content that is truthful to who I am. Because I mean, like, there's people out there that make content like truthful to who they are, and then they don't get many views, but they get that satisfaction, which props to those people. But I mean, like, for example, like a news outlet, YouTube channel that's like low scale, only does info videos on certain topics, say like fighting games or something like that. Like they can get big, but they only get so big. But if they branch out and do different games, maybe shooter, adventure, just add a bunch of different games to the pool, then their audience is going to get a little bit broader, and they might bring in more subscribers and stuff, but they won't be in that fighting game genre anymore. I mean, it'll still be there, but it's not fully on dedicated to it. So I don't know. It's kind of like a trade-off, you know. I don't really know what I was getting at there. I'm just saying, like, maybe you got to give up something to get more. I don't know. I sound stupid right now.
Yeah,
Do you get what I'm saying, though?
yeah, I understand where all that's coming from, and you're right. Some people want to share their experience. Some people want to share their emotions, you know. But video games are made so that people can play them and feel the emotion. For instance, when I'll be completely honest, when I first played The Last of Us, I was stupid. I watched a playthrough of it before I played it. So I was still emotionally attached to the characters, but not as much as I would be, and I regretted it 100%. Watching that playthrough before I got the game. So like,
So,
and
go ahead,
then,
sorry.
and then in my eyes, I think music is different. Yeah, I believe that there are artists that lose their vision when they figure out that, oh, I'm not doing the trendy thing. I need to do something that's going to appeal to the masses and stuff. And like you said, there are some artists and some content creators that do what they like and aren't getting as much revenue or views or whatever the hell, or plays, or, you know, and good on them. They're doing what they want to do. To me, music is different from playing games in the sense that, say if I made music and somebody remixed it, I'd be like, oh fuck, that's cool as hell. They liked my music enough to remix my song, or say somebody wanted to cover my song, I'd be like, oh, that's badass, you know. I'd want to listen to the songs. I would want to listen to the remixes and the covers and everything. But I'm gonna use The Last of Us as one more example. So like, I've never really talked about this publicly or like even with anybody else, but like my first playthrough, what I was thinking about, because me, I get emotionally attached to characters in video games as if they are real, I suppose, sometimes. Because I've been playing video games for so long, and they're my passion. I love video games and music and stuff like that, you know. And
Yeah.
then my first playthrough in The Last of Us, when I met Ellie, my only thought wasn't like, oh, I need to get through this game. It was, I need to protect this little girl, you know. And I think if I
Yeah, I
was
got you.
streaming or making videos on it, for instance, when you're streaming, some people have some quirky donation or subscription noises. Like if you're thinking those thoughts, like I need to protect this little girl with my life, or like whatever, you know, and you hear like skadoosh in the background or something for your sub
I got
when
you.
somebody subscribes, you're just like, that just breaks you out of that emotional state with the game, and it
The immersion
breaks
breaks
your
the immersion.
immersion. Yeah. And to me, that would just ruin the experience, in my eyes at least. I know some people have been doing it for so long that they can look past all that, but it's just like, I don't know. When
I
I
get
play,
that,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When I play, I want to look at the characters in the game. That is, if it's meant to be like that. I want to look at the characters in the game as if they are real people, you know? Because I think that's what
Yeah.
developers, for the most part, go after. Like Naughty Dog, when they made The Last of Us, they wanted Joel to feel real. They wanted Tess to feel real. They wanted Ellie to feel real, and they wanted everybody to feel real. And I was buying into that. I wanted to feel that, so I didn't stream it. I didn't make videos on it or anything, and I had much better experience in my eyes than I would have if I had streamed it. Because I was debating on streaming it. I got the game, and I got the game on the PS. I originally played it on the PS3. I played it originally on PS3, and then I got it on PS4, and I was just gonna do a whole new playthrough of it. I thought about streaming it, but then I realized I don't think that would be good for my experience. You know?
Yeah, I got
So
you. But let me ask you this.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
no,
Sorry, I'll ask
no,
you after.
I was just gonna say I decided against streaming it. So you can go ahead.
Okay. But let me ask you this. If you play through a game the first time on your own, are you willing to stream it on your second playthrough, or are you opposed to streaming single player story games or any game in general? Because I
Oh,
mean, there's a bunch of games out there like, Siege and CS:GO, stuff like that doesn't really have a story to it. I mean, are you against streaming in general on the first time or just single player story games?
uh, no. If it's like Siege, or if it's like Rainbow Six Siege, or like Counter Strike and shit like that, or like even Call of Duty. If you're playing multiplayer, and even Call of Duty, you don't. Those games, I know some people like. I don't know. It kind
Race to Prestige.
of yeah. I might kind of sound like a hypocrite, but like I don't think that these stories and like Call of Duty games and Battlefield games have as much emotional don't have as much fuck, what's the word I'm
Have an
thinking of?
emotional impact. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it's
like good storytelling. Is that what you're trying to
well,
say? Or
well, they have good stories. It's just like if you were to compare, like, say, Uncharted to a Call of Duty game, you're gonna get way more emotionally invested into an Uncharted game than you would a Call of Duty game.
yeah, but I mean, Modern Warfare was pretty fucking good. I mean, Modern Warfare 1 was pretty good. Modern Warfare 2 is really good. I mean, the stories of Modern Warfare are really good. I mean, Modern Warfare 1, you play as Soap McTavish with Captain Price. You're fighting to save goddamn US of A.
Yeah.
I remember playing that game and I got emotionally attached to those characters. I remember I got emotionally attached to Gaz, and when he got fucking his brains blown out at the very end of the game, I was so fucking mad. Ah, that
I,
shit sucked.
yeah, I understand that. But I guess it's kind of, I guess, I guess it's kind of personal preference then. Because when I
Yeah.
play, like, Call of Duty and stuff like that, I'm playing a war game. The only characters I ever really got attached to was like Soap and Price, and
So,
Ghost.
oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
But other than, because like I don't know how to explain it. There's just certain games that I personally feel that you need to play by yourself to get the full experience, at least the first time. Like if you want to play The Last of Us, go ahead. But my recommendation, trying to tell people what to do. This is purely just my experience and what I feel. Personally, play like if somebody is watching this and they've never played The Last of Us and they don't know and they've never watched a playthrough of it or anything, do not. My recommendation is to not stream it your first time through. If you want to stream it your second time or make videos on it the second time through, go ahead. You got your emotional playthrough. You got your playthrough where you're immersed with the characters and everything. I'm not saying that you can't stream and make videos on those games, but my personal belief is that streaming video games for the first time, streaming like story games, like the stories for games, like if you want to play like Call of Duty multiplayer, whatever the hell, go ahead. Doesn't really have a story. You're just fucking shooting people, you know. But like, if you're gonna play a game for the first time, I would recommend not streaming or making videos on it.
So, let me ask you this real quick. What meets the criteria of a game that you should play alone your first time rather than streaming it? Like what makes the cut? Not games that you've, I guess, use games that you have as reference, but
Yeah.
like how do you determine what a good, solo game is compared to a good streaming game?
fuck. Now you got me thinking. Now you have the. Now you're making my fucking brain work again.
Well, okay, well, you think about this, but I was going to say, you say that you want to keep the emotion, an emotional run as like a personal thing the first time around, but you could argue that, some people want to capture the emotions they feel during certain moments to share with other people. Some people probably don't care too much about that, it being an emotional thing, because at the end of the day, you're still by yourself in whatever room you're playing it in. You just have a camera on you, and it's recording your gameplay. So I mean, you're still playing the game. It's still your first run through, and sometimes you even get so immersed in the game you forget you're recording sometimes. So you can still have those moments of emotional impact. It's not like it's not going to be there. It's just that I mean, like you said with the donations and stuff like that, I could see how that like kind of can break it. Like if you're in a really important cutscene, something very emotional is going down, then in the background you just hear "yeah" or something crazy. You just fucking, it can kind of ruin it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see where you're coming from. But some people, like YouTubers, like they pre-record it. So are you just against the streaming or the pre-recording or all together?
I
And then, like I said
guess
before, what meets the criteria of a good solo game, in your opinion?
I guess I'm more against streaming stuff first, because I guess when you record, because now that you say it, because when you record stuff, there's no interruptions. You just have to like pause the game and start a new episode. That's the only interruption. Which, if you do it like that, if there's an important like an emotional cutscene going on, you can wait until the cutscene's over or whatever, and then you can pause the game and fucking click stop recording, and then just click start recording again and just start playing again. So maybe recording it. Maybe now that you say that, recording isn't too bad for your first playthrough, but I would strongly recommend not to stream games for your first playthrough, because especially if you're like a bigger streamer, maybe I don't know, like you did say like at the beginning you kind of touched on it at that point when you become like big, it becomes your job. So at that point they kind of have to. I don't know.
I mean, if you're a full-time streamer, then I mean, at that point, you kind of have to stream. Now, some people, I mean, majority of the big streamers are kind of dedicated to one game.
Yeah.
Like Ninja with Fortnite, or I'm trying to think of other people now. I can't even think of other people. Like Ammunition with sequel with Overwatch, Ammunition with Rainbow Six. There's a bunch of different streamers out there who are kind of based off of one game, and that's the community they've revolved their whole fan base around.
Yeah.
But like if you're like a in and out kind of streamer, you kind of play whatever you want. I mean, like Nova, I know he streams sometimes. He kind of just plays whatever the fuck he wants. And that's cool. But yeah, I mean, majority of games that you can stream, that you'll stream regularly and you could probably make money out of more, is the more multiplayer games with more of a diversity to it, where it's not just the same mission over and over again. So I mean, there's that, because I feel like a majority of YouTubers that play more single player games like we're talking about are going to be YouTubers, not streamers. But I've seen some streamers go out and play like the new game once it comes out. I've seen Maximilian, dude. He's mainly a fighting game guy, but he plays Dark Souls and Bloodborne from time to time, and he streams that. But even then, I think he played the game first by himself, but I might be wrong about that. So it just depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, I get all of that and stuff. Like I said, now that you say it, the streaming like you said, most streamers are dedicated to one game, and if they're not, they typically play multiplayer games with other people to make the stream more entertaining.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not. I guess I don't know. I still don't think you should stream your first playthrough of a game that you're going to get emotionally attached with.
Yeah, but how do you know what games you're going to get emotionally attached with, though? That's the thing. Like, because there are some. I mean, if you say AAA titles in general, I mean, not every AAA title is a banger.
No.
And then there's some really good indie games out there with really good stories. So it's hard. You don't really know what's going to be a good game until you play it. But, like, in your opinion, what signs are that it's going to be a very good story? Something like if you look at a game and you're just like, oh yeah, man, that's the game I'm going to play by myself, or that's a game I'm going to stream. How can you tell?
Well, I guess you can't really tell unless there's trailers or, like, gameplay or whatever. But, like, for instance, like, sequels. Like I played Uncharted, the first Uncharted, by myself. And I got emotionally attached to Nathan, and I got emotionally attached to Elena and Sully and everybody. So I knew that the second game and the third game, at the time the fourth game wasn't out yet. So I knew the second and third game were also going to get me emotion. Those emotions that I felt towards those characters were going to stick. And I was right. And then the fourth game came out. And I got emotionally attached to, like, Sam, and I got emotionally attached to Nathan and Elena and Sully all over again and everything. And then the little time at the end, you play as his daughter. Spoiler alert for people who haven't played fucking Uncharted 4 yet, which is, if you haven't, go do it. It's fucking amazing.
You just fucking spoiled the game. Why are they gonna do it now?
I didn't spoil what happens.
He fucks somebody and he has a daughter.
Everybody knows that he's with Elena.
They don't know that, Sonic. You just keep spoiling
Yes, they
things.
do. It was in Uncharted 3.
Work their way to the fourth one.
They've been out for fucking how long?
Hey man, some people don't get around.
Jesus Christ. Fuck, where was I? Okay,
Talking about go ahead.
Even like at the end of Uncharted 4, even like the little time that you play as that little girl, I got a little bit emotionally attached to her, just knowing that she was Nathan's daughter. There wasn't enough time for me to, like, learn about her or anything like that, but it's just the fact that she was Nathan's daughter gave me that little bit. So
you felt almost as if you were a part of that family, and it was a new family member or something like that, or like what?
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, because when I play games, I've been playing games for a long time. When I first started playing games, I was, like, really young. And, like, I was just playing, like, for instance, we had, like, a Nintendo 64. I played, like, Rampage, and there was, like, blood and guts and everything. And then I played, like, Super Smash Brothers, where it was just, like, like the original Super Smash Brothers that was, like, 8 characters. And I was just playing it. Back then, I was so young, I didn't get emotionally attached to characters, and I never really understood why people got emotionally attached to characters. And then as I got older and I started playing more games, that was a voice crack. I'm going to call myself out on that. As I started playing more games, I started to realize, oh shit. Yeah, people that make these games are trying to make these characters feel like real people, and when they succeed, they really succeed. Like what I said, like Naughty Dog made Ellie feel real to me. Like she was that little girl that I had to protect,
Yeah, I got you. And I mean, I get it, the whole gaming, characters feeling like they're a part of I get what you mean,
Yeah.
but like you could also say, reason you didn't feel that because a lot of games back then were more just like gameplay. They weren't really meant for story, like
Yeah.
Smash Bros. No real story to that. You just kind of a bunch of characters fighting each other. It's a fun game, but there's nothing really to it.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, Last of Us, Uncharted, I mean, even Halo, characters that have been developed for so long, and you're with these characters during these development times. It's like you learn more about these characters and you start to like them. I mean, and then like when they span across multiple games, when it's a franchise, like you said, Uncharted, you play as Nathan Drake every single Uncharted game.
Yeah.
You come to know the character, you see his highs, you see his lows, you care about him. You care about the characters that are there, because if you didn't care, what's the point of playing the game?
Yeah.
You got to have some sort of attachment. You got to care about it. Otherwise, what are you even doing? Why are you playing this game? Why are you playing a story game when you don't care about any of the characters? You know? So, you know, I get what you mean about wanting it to be a personal thing because it feels personal to you because you get invested into these worlds and you get very attached to all these games. So it feels like I don't like correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like you're almost tarnishing that image if you share it with a bunch of other people. Whereas this is your own little world, and once you open the doors for everybody else to come in and see your experience, it almost doesn't become your experience anymore. Is that what I'm getting, or?
Yeah, I guess in a way, because you're making it for other people to see. You know.
And your point is to not stream for anybody else, but play it for yourself. Is that your argument? Is play it for you rather than
because video games are made to play like
be played.
yeah. So like Uncharted and The Last of Us and everything like that. Like you said, Halo. Even like the story in Halo has always been good and shit. Fuck. What was I gonna say?
Damn it, man.
I'm so tired. Yeah, that's. Anyways, that's kind of my point. I think that streaming your first playthrough of a game that is meant to emotionally bring you in and get you feeling something for the characters. I think that it tarnishes it because when you're streaming it, at least when you're streaming it, you're thinking about how can I make this entertaining and keep people watching. You're not thinking about, oh fuck, what's like I keep bringing this up, but like for instance, you're not thinking about I need to protect this person. You know.
Got a real fucking hard on for The Last of Us, my guy.
Yeah, I'm just using it as a fucking thing. I didn't say little girl this time. I just said person. It could be anything.
I know
it could
what
be
you're
fucking
talking
Uncharted.
about.
It could be fucking. It could be. I love it. I fucking love
you're
The
right,
Last of
you're
Us
right,
anyways,
you're right.
So whatever. I don't fucking. I'm not saying that I'm not referencing The Last of Us, but I'm not.
Yeah, I get what you mean, bro.
Yeah.
But I think we've said all we can say about this. I mean, honest to God, I mean, what else can we really say about it? We've talked about it. We talk about how, like, the bigger you are, I guess the harder it is for you not to do these kind of things because it is your job at this point. And then that almost, I guess maybe that can make it feel impersonal at times too. Because, I feel like sometimes maybe big, people on YouTube or streamers, maybe they don't want to play the same game over and over again, but they're afraid that if they swap out games that they'll lose viewers.
Yeah.
And for them, that's their livelihood, that's how they make their money. They gotta do what the people want. And then some people do what they want, and sometimes they get a bunch of viewers, and sometimes they don't. I feel like it's kind of hit or miss with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know this one guy who streams almost every single day. He's been a dedicated streamer for like 3, 4 years, man. He works a full-time job. He's a dedicated streamer. His Twitch stream is XX Wilder Gamer XX for any of you that are watching. Maybe you want to branch out, see some new content creators. He's a really good Twitch streamer, but nobody watches his videos because he's kind of all over the place. He doesn't really play one game. I mean, I feel like the one game that he plays the most out of anything is probably Farming Simulator, which, I mean, not a bunch of people want to watch, but, you know, it's what he wants to play, so he does what he wants to play. He plays Gears as well. He'll probably stream Gears once it comes out,
Yeah.
but, you know, it's going to be so populated with everybody else. I mean, hopefully he gets some views. I mean, maybe, you know, if you stream it, I hope you get some views too. But he's been at the game for 4, 5, 6 years, and he's only got about maybe 300 followers, which is still a lot, you know. That's 300 people, but for 6 years of hard work, that's all he kind of has to show for it, and I feel bad because he deserves a lot more. But you know, he does what he wants, and you know, if at the end of the day, if he's happy, then great. But like I said, the higher YouTuber streamers, you know, they got to do what they got to do to pay the bills. So I get it, I guess.
Yeah. And I guess in the end here, you kind of, I still stand by you shouldn't, and I should say this, my stand on it wasn't you shouldn't stream these games. My stand on it is that you should play it for yourself first before you before you play it for other people. And stuff like that, and then like I get like it's a job at some point, you know, if you get big enough, it's a job and everything, and you have to play it for other people regardless, you know. You play it for yourself. By the time you get done playing it, it's gonna would have had been out for a while, probably, and then by the time you stream it, people are gonna have already watched shit on it and watched the whole thing or like played the whole thing or whatever. And that's my stand on streaming. And I guess you've kind of changed my stand on videos because you made it clear to me like there isn't the same interruptions during videos than there is during streaming. And I guess in videos you can there isn't people in the chat saying, oh, like for instance Red Dead, there isn't people in the chat saying, oh, you should be bad, you know, you should be the bad guy. When you're making videos on Red Dead 2, you're just like, I'm gonna be good the whole playthrough, and nobody can tell me otherwise, unless, like, of course, the comments. But most people will record their whole playthrough and then upload it. You know, they'll play it in like one sitting, and then they'll have all their videos ready to upload, and they'll put them out. So by the time they got their playthrough finished, they already have all their videos recorded, so they can't be influenced by the audience, you know. So I guess that's my stand on it now.
I gotcha.
I
guess that's it then, huh?
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up.
All right, man. Can I do the outro this time?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right, man. All right. So, thank you for tuning in to the Wolf and Warden podcast, episode 3, where we talked about video gaming and streaming, man. It was a good time. Same shit we talk about off camera too. So, you know. Anyways, if you enjoyed, hit that like button down below. Let us know if you enjoyed it. If not, please don't hit the dislike. Just don't hit anything at all.
Yeah.
Subscribe to my boy here, White Wolf WS. He's gonna try to be consistent with his uploads. We're gonna try here. Sometimes you might see me, sometimes you might not. It's his show. But comment down below if you agree or disagree with us. Let us know your opinions. This is pure speculation, by the way. Neither of us, view our thoughts as like law. It's just
No.
Us two guys speaking their mind on a podcast. That's all
This
this is.
I'm for instance, I don't know what I was gonna say, but this is all just my opinion. This is just my opinion and how I feel about it. Other people can feel differently. Other people might want to stream their first experience for a game. You know, it's all up to the streamer's decision. You know, I it and if they feel like they can be emotionally invested into a game and stream it with like the donations and the subscription sounds and stuff like that, go ahead. Like, I'm just saying what I feel in the end here.
I got you. Yeah. All right, but yeah. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you thought. Tune in for the next video. Don't know what it's gonna be about. Might be me here, might not. Depends on what's going on. But have a good one, and skadoosh.
Okay, we'll talk to y'all later. Goodbye.